Despite criticism around the Big Ten and around the nation about what Michigan has done in regards to championship efforts, the recruits continue to come in. We're talking about a top 5 class right now for 2021, according to the 247 Sports Composite. We got Von Lozon on the line from Maize and Brew to talk Jim Harbaugh's efforts on the recruiting trail. Von, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. The quarantine has been kind of strange. I'm starting to grow a mustache for the first time ever,
Okay.
So that's what quarantine does to people, I guess. So I'm hanging in there. How are you?
You are not alone when it comes to changes in facial hair. I've given my shot, and my daughter has at trimming my hair to varying degrees of success, and I won't try to point out where I've hacked it a little bit worse than I should have. So we'll not draw attention to that. But yeah, the facial hair and the hair in general situation for us guys in particular has been a bit of a mystery and a journey here over the last several months. But Michigan football, despite the lack of direct communication, official visits obviously being put on hold, basically canceled for the spring season, in which a lot of teams in the Big Ten draw some of its better contact with the guys from the South in the particular shut down. But Michigan doing a bang-up job. And again, Keyshawn Bennett, the latest to come into the fold.
Yeah, it's kind of strange because the recruiting dead period just got extended just a few days ago. No visits throughout the month of June, no visits throughout the month of July. So at the very earliest, these kids will be able to visit college campuses starting August 1st, and I doubt that they'll even be able to do that at that point. And Michigan usually does a standout job with the official visits. They always have a big recruiting visit period in June, at least one weekend in June, and then they always host a barbecue at the big house, usually in the middle of July. So obviously both of those got nixed. So they're having to rely on Zoom, Skype, video conference calls with these recruits, and that's the majority of the work that they've been putting in. They've been Zoom calling kids left and right, and as you mentioned, Keyshawn Bennett being the latest to join the fold. He's a 4-star defensive end from what I like to call Don Brown territory on the East Coast in Connecticut, number 1 recruit in the state of Connecticut. He's more so of the Josh Uche type, where he could play outside linebacker, pass rusher, a versatile piece to the defense. A very good addition for the defense. So, and they've been building a lot of pieces on the defense recently. They've got 4 linebacker commits as of now, 1 cornerback, 1 safety, and now the 2 defensive linemen. So they really hit the ground running on the recruiting trail so far during this very strange time.
Yeah, it's a strange time, and Michigan obviously has a national brand. They can go anywhere and draw in recruits. Any particular reason why you think the recruiting efforts are as successful as they have been for a program that's generally been in the maybe 8 to 15 range in regards to recruiting rankings, that they're recruiting just about as well as almost anyone in the country?
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that these kids are wanting to commit a lot earlier in this recruiting cycle, the 2021 cycle, with the fact that they're not going to be able to visit campuses until at the very earliest August 1st. I think a lot of these kids are wanting to commit early, and that's what you've seen not just with Michigan, but a lot of college programs. USC even has a really good class right now, and they're starting to fill up too. And I think the big message going around the country for these kids is if you don't commit early, you're probably not going to have a spot in the programs that you want to go commit to. So I think some of that has to do with Michigan's recruiting success early on. They're, like you mentioned, top 5 right now. At the end of the day, I think they'll probably be somewhere in that 8 to 10 range at the very most, maybe number 5. But I think at the end of the day, it'll be 8 to 10, maybe 11 or 12, somewhere in that range. So yeah, they're recruiting good right now. They've still certainly got a few pieces left to round out the class. They're still going after a few more guys on the offensive line. Rocco Spindler being the big in-state target, top 50 kid. And then on defensive line as well, Quentin Somerville being at one point at least a top 100 player, now slipped out of the top 100, but still a 4-star guy that Sean New has been recruiting for a really long time, that they're looking to get a commitment from on June 20th. That's when he locked in his commitment date. So plenty to be excited about Michigan's class so far, and we'll certainly see how it all plays out when they sign on the dotted line in December.
New England and the Upper East Coast, not known as a bevy of talent in regards to volume, but if there are top-line players to be plucked out of there, Michigan certainly seems to be under Harbaugh in play for those guys. You mentioned Bennett from Connecticut, 3 players coming in from Massachusetts thus far, and then going all the way south, of course, to Florida, where everybody runs to, but Michigan's one of the few programs that can go that far south and also pluck out some of the best. Anyone in particular that you're excited about?
Yeah, well, I'll start with uncommitted. There's a wide receiver out in California who actually just dropped his top list today, and Michigan was in that top 6 list. His name is Xavier Worthy. He's around number 200 overall on the 24/7 composite, but I honestly think he has a chance to really raise his stock if there is a high school season to be played. He is one of the fastest recruits in the country, I would imagine. You just flip on his tape and he just soars. He really glides really well. Several videos on his Twitter page of him running track in high school, and he's just absolutely killing the competition. So he's a guy that I'm really excited about. Whether he commits to Michigan or not, I think he's going to be a phenomenal college football player. And if we're going off kids that are currently committed, obviously J.J. McCarthy is the one that sticks out in my mind, the 5-star quarterback. Obviously it's a default answer to say the 5-star guy, but he really slings the rock well. He's been a phenomenal recruiter for Michigan in this 2021 class, keeping a lot of kids involved with Michigan and keeping the interest involved for Michigan as well. So he's really trying to recruit the best kids possible for this class for Michigan. And I think once he gets on campus, I'm not going to say that he has the opportunity to play and start as a true freshman, but it wouldn't surprise me at all given his work ethic and the way that he goes about doing business.
Yeah, it's definitely a process that lends itself to momentum, because kids want to see the proof of concept on the field, obviously, in wins and losses. But then the second stage of that is, wow, if other top-notch players are being drawn, there must be something there. I may look into that. And when you talk 5-star, you're talking elevated to like top 30 to 35 players, regardless of position in the country. So you're talking the elite of the elite. People focus on the top 300. That's a kind of a general range of 4 stars, even though 4 stars typically go even beyond that top 300 range. But man, 5 stars, those guys aren't just walking down the street all over the place. They're very rare. So great find for Michigan and a commitment there. Von Lozon on the line. Please join him on Mason Brew, SB Nation's platform for Michigan athletics, getting us caught up on recruiting. We appreciate it, Von.
Thanks for having me.